Hi, Allen Reece here with Frank and Kraft, the Elder Care Channel. Today I'm talking with Michelle Bell of Visiting Angels, which is a home care agency here in Indianapolis. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, I'm
How are you doing today?
good. How are you?
So tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Um, I'm the owner and director of Visiting Angels in Indy North, which is a living assistance service. So
Okay.
we help people stay safe and independent in their homes.
Okay. And how long has the company been in business, Visiting Angels?
The company's been in business. It depends on what you mean. I've owned it for about 4 years. I did
Okay.
buy an existing agency
Okay.
that was about 6 or 7 years old, and then I expanded my territory. I am a franchise,
Okay.
and I expanded to Fishers and Noblesville.
All right. So the market area you serve is on the north side of Indianapolis,
It's the
then?
north side, yeah. Everything north of 70 or Washington Street, so northern Marion County, all of Hamilton and all of the,
Okay. And what are some of the areas that you think Visiting Angels does a particularly good job of doing in the field of home care?
oh wow. Um, well, there's a number of things. First of all, we have a full-time case manager.
Okay.
That's Sherry Northcutt. We call her Sherry Poppins because everybody loves her. But it is her job to go out, work in the field, and work very directly with the clients and their families. I also do case management half-time, even though I have the ownership responsibilities.
Okay.
So we really, really focus on the work behind the scenes, taking care of our clients. It's not just the caregivers out in the field with the clients on a daily basis. It's there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in terms of how we provide quality care for our clients. We also subscribe to a service called Home Care Pulse,
Okay.
which is a third-party surveying company. And that's because I very strongly believe in providing quality service, and I want there to be accountability for us as an agency. So we have a lot of accountability in place for the caregivers that work with our clients and as employees, but who am I accountable to? So we hired this company. They're like the JD Powers of home care.
Okay. Sure.
And so they survey 10% of my clients every month and ask them a series of questions. They rate us in 13 different categories of service. And so it's only the cream of the crop agencies that even care about quality that hire them.
Sure.
But then among those, they have an award called Best in Home Care. And we've won the award a couple of years in a row,
Oh,
as
wow.
long as we've been with them. So we're very proud of that.
Tell me a little bit about the sort of the model. I know that some home care agencies use independent contractors.
Mhm.
Some others, it's just individuals sort of providing care on their own.
Right.
How does Visiting Angels work? What is your model?
Yeah, our caregivers are our employees, and I firmly believe that there's some distinct advantages to that. First of all, no money passes hands with the caregivers. You know, the clients are my clients. So we have a client agreement, and they understand that any scheduling, any invoicing, all of that comes through the office.
Okay.
That way the caregiver can focus on what she's there to do. And I say she, we have about 60 caregivers, and 58 of them are female.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, the caregiver's role is to be there for the client 100%. And obviously another big piece of that is accountability, like I mentioned. The caregivers have a lot of procedural rules that they have to follow that I could not maintain if they were subcontracted.
Okay. Do you do any sort of background checks on the employees as well?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. The state requires, most home care companies like mine are state licensed, and the Department of Health requires that agencies do the state police background, which we do in order to comply with state. But because of the Visiting Angels franchise rules, and we would want to do this anyway, we have the most stringent background check. I'm lucky because Visiting Angels affords me the opportunity to do this incredible background check for much less than it would be if I wasn't with them, because they've got the buying power of 470 offices nationwide.
Sure. Economies of scale.
Right. So we get federal background check, we get the state background check, we get local district courts checks. It's the last 7 years in counties that a caregiver has both worked and lived.
Okay.
We check BMV records, credit check, and Social Security check to check for aliases, which obviously is important. But the way people move around so much these days from state to state, I mean, it's really important and critical, really, that we get that federal background check in there.
Sure.
And I know that our competitors aren't doing it because we've done some mystery shopping and competitive
Oh, wow.
analysis, and we are literally the only ones of the 10 or so agencies we check that we're doing it. So
That's certainly differentiation, isn't it?
I think so.
So give me a sense of the typical client. Who would use your service? Who needs the kind of help you provide?
Well, in the 4 years that I've had the agency, we've had hundreds and hundreds of families we've served. So it's hard to say what a typical client is, but generally they're elderly.
Okay.
Generally it's a woman because women outlive men, so I have a lot
Sure.
more female clients than male. Those are the care recipients. They can have any number of things, even though we're non-medical. We certainly see every day a lot of chronic illness, Alzheimer's and dementia, and then we do a fair amount of work with hospice clients. So that can be anything,
Sure.
certainly cancer, but it's not just, I mean, it's any end of life situation.
Okay.
So those are the three major areas, but I've had clients as young as in their 20s that had, traumatic brain injuries or
Sure.
things like that. So it really runs the gamut.
Can you give sort of an example or an anecdote of an instance where you see sort of the real benefit of the service you're providing?
Yes, I've had family members cry on my shoulder, literally cry, in an assessment when they realized all the things we could do for them, all the ways we could take the load off of them. Mostly, like I said, women, daughters-in-law, people very much, you've heard of the sandwich generation.
Sure.
They've got their kids, they've got a job, and they've got aging parents. And it was actually one of my very first cases 4 years ago. We assessed, and this woman was having marital problems because she was torn between taking care of her dad and taking care of her own family. And it was just really touching. We were all crying by the end of it. But I mean, it's things like that, it gives me a lot of job satisfaction. I know that we're doing really important work for a lot of people.
Super. That's got to be really gratifying.
It is, yeah, every day.
If someone is trying to find, if they think that this is something that would be helpful for them, what sort of questions should they ask? What sort of things should they know as they're looking to find maybe a home care service? What sort of questions should they ask and things should they look for?
I think they should ask, first of all, things like you've asked me, specifics. Don't be afraid to ask and really drill down into how they operate as a business. What accountability types of things are they doing? Like, how stringent is their background check? Do they have quality control checks in place? What are some of the procedures they use with their caregivers? For example, we have a telephony system where the caregivers clock in and out from the client's home. That's just another double check so that we know that they're there when they say they're there.
Okay.
Some agencies don't opt for that because it is expensive, but we feel it's important. So get into the specifics and ask the tough questions about how they operate on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Well, gosh, Michelle, thank you for joining us today. That's Michelle Bell with Visiting Angels, which is a home care agency here in the north side of Indianapolis. I'm Allen Reece with the law firm of Frank Kraft. Thanks again for joining us today. Take care.